and you're very welcome to the first episode of the STAC podcast for 2024. And Happy New Year to everybody. First of all, I am delighted to say that we have finally dispensed with the overly cumbersome title of the South Tip Arts podcast. And we feel that now is the time, with STAC, our moniker, drifting more into the vernacular. We think it's time that we changed the title of our podcast to the STAC podcast, which I think rolls off the tongue a little easier. So you're all very welcome. And in this episode, I'll be joined by Sophie Béhal, whose work is currently on show here at STAC. Threadsuns is a new body of work from Sophie and comes as the result of the Tipperary Artist Residency Award with STAC, which is supported by Tipperary Arts Office. This work comes from a period of engagement with new materials in a new place. Situated in a rural landscape in County Tipperary, it searches for a new way of being in this world, and it uses repetition, ritual and process to investigate this. The sun and circles are used as a rhythmic refrain and repeated throughout the show. The most reassuring of shapes, the circle, and its association with infinity and certainty are questioned, and the turmeric-dyed cotton sunprints hanging throughout the gallery act as a balm on the cold winter days, but they will not last. Created by sunlight, they are a measure of light, time and space, and in the gallery, the weak winter light will see them fade and change over the duration of the exhibition. The work offers the viewer moments of hope and transformation while acknowledging the darkness of our times. This exhibition is the result of a sustained period of research, experimentation and learning for the artist in new sculptural materials: glass, slip-cast ceramics, large-scale natural dyeing and printing, and welded steel. The different timescales of these materials and their sometimes contradictory properties of heaviness and lightness, movement and stillness, permanency and ephemerality are explored. I was delighted to catch up with Sophie just before the opening of Threadsuns to ask her about her process and how her experience as Tipperary Artist in Residence has been. Sophie Béhal, you are so very welcome to South Tip Art Centre and to the podcast. I've been watching you work all week and absolutely fascinated by this beautiful installation that you have downstairs. The yellow is the first thing that hits you when you walk in the door, and circles are a huge part of this exhibition. Mm-hmm. Can you just tell me how you arrived at this place? Because
yeah, sure.
I've seen other images of previous work that you've done, and it's quite different in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I know that you moved to a new location in the country, and I wonder, is that the sort of driving force behind the change?
I suppose I feel like I've been making work like that for a while, but maybe it never has looked like it. I've made these kind of large faded paper pieces before, which would look a bit more like a gridded window, whereas in this exhibition now the central motif is this circle. So I wouldn't say it was particularly relevant to moving to the countryside, but maybe because it's the sun and that's how the pieces are made, so it's very
has
directly.
Scale increased usually?
And I hadn't used fabric before, so there's been a load of new things dyeing fabric. Before I'd used paper, so that comes already dyed, and
and your paper prints activated by the sun as well.
They were that I'd done before.
It's this time of year we're just on the cusp of spring. And there's something about this work that's so perfect for this time of the year.
I knew that the show would be this time of year, so I suppose I did make it particularly for this time of year.
For this exact time of year.
Yeah.
And that's obviously very important generally to you, cycles.
Yeah. And I suppose actually having moved recently enough, that is much more obvious, when you live in the countryside than when you live in the city, like the changes in the seasons and the different qualities of light and the length of the days and that. So that's definitely, very, very relevant to that.
I love the idea that you use turmeric to dye the fabric in the first instance, and the bright colour that it produces.
Isn't it incredible?
Is just how much turmeric
it was
is involved.
What did I do in the end? It was about 3 kilos maybe. That was that. Wow. It's not a huge amount. but I dyed more fabric than is there, so I would have dyed about 20 metres of it.
So it's just a case of popping it in a bucket and...
Well, it was a very
very large
big bucket. Yeah,
bin.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, when I had planned it, you know, I was like, oh, I'm going to make this big piece, but then... I mean, when we make a big piece, everything has to be bigger. Yeah. So, it was a huge bucket because I wanted to dye it all in one go. So at the start, I thought maybe I'd have 20 metres of it in one continuous piece. But, well, that's not how it is now in the gallery. It's in two different pieces.
How long are they, actually?
That's a good question. Yeah. I think they're about 4 metres and about 5 metres long and 2.5 wide.
They're so impressive.
Yeah, it's nice to make something so big.
Yellow has a huge symbolism, and brings up lots of connotations for, like, I mean, I think of kind of, I don't know, solar plexus, kind of chakra and power and positivity and the springtime and the colour. And were they all things that, you know, you...
Yeah, they were. I mean, I dyed it yellow, on purpose. That was a choice, like, so it was that warmth, really, and that... and light. I think actually, they were my main sort of
turmeric
thoughts.
Has massive healing properties.
Yeah, it does.
Well, so I think even just standing in that space, I mean, I don't know, like, I've noticed it now because obviously we just came back after Christmas break on Tuesday, and as always, between shows you come back to this sort of blank canvas, empty space and white walls. But the minute the yellow fabric came into the space and you hung up the first piece, which is, as you walk in the door of the gallery, you see it at the bottom of the room, and it's just, I just feel like I was like a moth to a flame. It just pulls you through the door, and it's so powerful. Like,
I suppose I never...
It's simple, but it's so powerful.
It is very simple. But I hadn't seen them either in their entirety because it was so massive. I never saw the whole thing until we got here and unrolled it. I only saw it in kind of in sections. As I was like doing the kind of sun print onto it, I'd only see like a kind of 2 metre by 2 metre section. So I felt the same when it was unrolled there in the big double height space. I was like,
revelation.
The glow, And you know, I was wondering, would they smell? Because when they were first dyed and dried, they still smelled of turmeric, but it is kind of gone now. But it was a nice kind of earthy smell. So maybe if you got up real close and I gave them a sniff, you might.
If people go to the website and click onto the page for your exhibition Threadsuns, which I don't think we mentioned the name of yet, they'll see the image of the lean-to that you created on the side of your shed in order to make these prints. And it's really something to behold. It's a fabulous image in itself.
It's lovely thing itself.
How did you even get the idea to rig this thing up?
Well, I knew I'd done small tests on dyeing small sections and then putting them in the window with something covering over them. So then I was seeing that it faded really well in reaction to the sunlight, and so that I'd be able to make a repeat pattern on it. So I just needed a big window was basically it when I was going up to 2.5 metres by 2.5 metres for the kind of the size of the print. So I didn't have any windows that big, so the building of the lean-to with the corrugated iron and then the clear corrugated just kind of coming off the shed, so it was like an extension of the shed leaning onto it, but it's a beautiful structure in itself. Actually,
it really is. It really is.
And I do love the corrugated, and that's in the show as well. You know, there's a piece of corrugated glass, and I suppose it is windows again, which I have used before. You know, it's a different kind of a vernacular of a window because it's a like rural shed window. Like, you know, that's the skylights that are in all the sheds. It's just plastic corrugated.
That's the other material that there's a lot of in the show is glass.
There is.
So did you study glass making or glass rolling?
No, I didn't, but I did sculpture in Crawford really like 10 years ago, but I wouldn't have done glass or any of those kind of craft materials, so all of that is new. But I did a workshop in glass casting over a year ago now in the National Sculpture Factory in Cork.
It's beautiful because I've not seen a lot of cast glass. Like, it's just not something you come across. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So So yeah, we went back to the sculpture factory, myself and my friend Maeve, and we were like, oh, we'll put to use what we learnt in those 2 days. You know, it's very short. So that's what we've kind of spent the summer and leading up till now. I've been in the sculpture factory. So that was great because I got to really practice making cast glass and slumping glass, and another slip cast ceramics are in the show as well. So that was also done in the kiln in the sculpture factory. So yeah, it's been a really great kind of 6 months of learning a whole load of new techniques and how the materials react with each other.
And just to talk about the piece in the alcove, as we call it, pond is the name you have on it. We have real live daffodil bulbs growing in the gallery. Alone, that has to be seen. So explain that piece a little bit to me.
I wanted to use stainless steel because I love stainless steel's kind of silvery quality. So I was using the circle motif. I bought these little stainless steel circles and I welded them together, and then they make up a larger circle. So that's kind of the
circles.
Pod. And they're kind of they're just hovering over the floor level. But I suppose I was kind of interested in steel as not this really hardcore heavy material. In maybe its other quality, can it have a quality of lightness to it, even though it's not light, it's
and
heavy.
And then next to the it's kind of structure, but next to the kind of slumped glass, then the beautiful contrast between, and that whole piece makes the most gorgeous shadows. It's lovely. The shadows kind of completed actually by kind of multiplying out the small circles, and then then the bulbs are growing kind of out of some of the stainless steel circles. And is that inspired by an actual specific place?
There is a pond
on your own land.
No, it's in a field that I walk the dog in. So it was just dug out there during the summer. So the farmer that owns the field dug out a section of the field, and he was hoping that it would turn into a pond. So I've watched it fill.
Lovely.
I daily I watched it fill, so it has been really lovely to see it
the lapse
become
of
a
time
pond.
and the passing of time and all these gorgeous thoughts that kind of this work is evoking and will evoke for everybody. Is that I'm already thinking of, I need a time lapse now of a lot of these pieces and how they'll react to the sunlight, and I'm really excited to actually watch this happen over the next 6 weeks?
6 weeks, me too. I'm wondering, will there, obviously the daffodil bulbs will grow. Well, I hope. But that there will be a kind of a transformation of several of the pieces. Hopefully the sun print that is hanging by the window in the kind of 5 meter high space, that should fade with the sunshine, or even it was made with some actual sunshine and some just clouded sunlight. It should fade over time, but where the gallery is, it's not going to be hit by a lot of direct light. So hopefully there'll still be something there
in the morning.
At the end of 6 weeks,
quite bright. For the first half of the day, that spot is quite bright. So it'll be very, very interesting to see the changes. And even if we don't see the changes, which often is life, isn't it? You don't see things on the daily.
Because they're so
when you
subtle.
look back after 30 days, you see a huge difference. So that'll be very interesting. This whole body of work has come out of your Tipperary Artist in Residence 23, which you have been working on with us and with Helena particularly for the last 5 months. Is it longer? 3-4 months.
It's short.
So short. And don't you know it? So how do you feel like that whole process has been for you, and what has it done in terms of, has it opened up maybe new avenues of exploration? Or
I think it came just at the right time actually to have a kind of a show coming up quite soon, because I was in the sculpture factory and I was experimenting with new materials, but without a deadline. Sure, take it easy, potter, and it's lovely, it's great, and it's a great thing to be able to do and to not have the pressure of having to be like, okay, is this good, or is this a piece of work to just be kind of playing and exploring. But that had been happening for a couple of months, so it was great then when I found out about the show. It just focuses the mind.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
And it all started to come together then, whereas it had things I was making had seemed very, I didn't know how they were connected to each other.
Experimenting is so important.
It is exactly. So yeah, it's been great. It's been really good to have the show coming up.
All these little things slap together, isn't it? Like, it's kind of, I don't know, I'm extrapolating that out from the whole, everything that's happening downstairs and the time passing and the cycles of everything and how everything's connected. There you go.
Yeah.
So what's next? You know, after this, is it sort of inspired a further exploration?
Yeah, I'm leaving the country on Monday, so I'm going on an artist residency. So in Spain for a couple of weeks, and yeah, I just made in the last very short while. I made the cyanotype prints that are in the show.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah. We'll talk about that at the end. But I had been meaning to give cyanotype a go for a long time, because I was like, it makes so much sense for the other processes that I'm using, because it's a print made by the sun.
Yeah, it does.
So it's the same thing, you know.
So you came to that after the other stuff?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, that's where it all came from. No, it's the other way around.
It probably all originally comes from analog photography. That's which is the same process as well, like you know, light affecting
photograms and things.
Yeah, exactly. But I hadn't done cyanotype before, and I just did this workshop in it there right before Christmas with Ashley Ellis in Cork, and it was just an evening, but it was brilliant. And it just opened up this kind of world, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a go, and it is such a lovely process. So because I'm really at the very beginning of that, and I've kind of only made a handful of cyanotypes, that's what I'm kind of looking forward to working on in Spain, particularly because I'm not going to be able to be using any sort of big materials or you know, moving things like that, so
that'll be quite a simple and transportable process.
Exactly.
Yes. Exactly. Explain to me how you made that particular print then. So because it's a beautiful landscape with fields and gorgeous trees it's perspective.
Yeah, it's the view from what the sun print would have been looking at, really. That's the view away from the shed. But the cyanotype lends it that kind of real, very kind of dreamy quality, where it's not really in focus. And in the show, the one that I have in the show is just a section of that view as well, so it's kind of not fully, that you can't see the full thing. But the process is lovely. It's very simple. It's 2 chemicals which are totally safe, non-hazardous, that you mix together and you paint onto the surface of your choice, so like a paper, or you can do it on wood. And then I had a digital negative printed, so the image printed on plastic, but just in black ink. And then it's placed on the paper, and then you bring the paper and the print out into the sunshine. So the
the negative.
So then the negative.
Lovely.
Stops the sun in certain areas.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, I've never tried it.
Oh, you should give it a go. It's not hard.
No,
it's really pleasurable.
It's actually a thing that you could really do beautiful stuff with kids, and
it'd be great. I think for groups
that now, and even for adults. That's a lovely process to play with. The print that you have then for sale, which is the entire image of the view from the shed.
Exactly.
Tell us a bit about that one and your intention for it.
So I wanted to maybe use the exhibition in some way to kind of address what's happening in the world, and to use it as a small gesture of
solidarity,
good, or solidarity. So I have this cyanotype print for sale for €50, and all of the proceeds will go towards a charity for Palestine. So
it's an absolutely brilliant image.
So it's the full image. It's
for €50. This is a beautiful thing. Like, it's actually a beautiful object.
It is. I hope a lot of people will want to buy it.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's not a huge big thing either. It's
about 15 centimeters by 24 centimeters, something like that.
And even that would make a lovely gift. Beautiful. The colours, the blues, the tones.
The blues are lovely.
Just gorgeous.
I hope a few people will want it anyway. So I'll be busy then when the show ends, because I'll print them all. After the show closes. So hopefully I'll have a few to keep me busy to print and then send out to people.
Sophie, the absolute best of luck on your residency in Spain.
Oh, thank you.
Have a fantastic time. Send us back some sunshine, please. And gorgeous work. Thank you for being our artist in residence for the last number of months. It's been a pleasure working with you and having you around the place. So thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Dolly. Here. Yeah, thank you.
Take care. And thanks again to Sophie for taking time to sit down and have a chat with me about Threadsuns, which is on display here at STAC until Saturday 24th of February. The gallery is open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 to 5. We'd love to see you. I just want to make a brief mention again of Sophie's cyanotype print, which is available here to order in the gallery. It's called The Blue of Distance. It costs just €50 and all the proceeds after postage will be donated to Medical Aid for Palestine. Each print will be hand printed after the exhibition and then posted, so please allow until mid-March to receive your print if you wish to order one. You can come and view the piece in the gallery, where you will find contact details for Sophie, and indeed we have a QR code to her PayPal where you can directly engage with her. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, the email address is southtippartspodcast@gmail.com. That's southtippartspodcast@gmail.com. You can check out our website, www.southtippartcentre.ie, to keep up to date with everything that's coming up in the near future. There you also have the opportunity to sign up for our monthly newsletter, which will ensure that you're always up to date with the latest news from us. Talk to you all next time. Bye now.